It's May 18th, 2021, and this is Sketchworks NewsBrake. The news stops here. I'm Brian Troxel, and this week we're kicking things off with a roundup of state news. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster signed a bill forcing death row inmates to choose between the electric chair or a firing squad as their method of execution. Meanwhile, California is forcing its death row inmates to choose between a slap on the wrist or a stern finger wagging. The Connecticut State House declared pizza the state food. Runners-up were French fries, sandwiches, and that's it, because those are the only food choice options in Connecticut. Georgia's lieutenant governor is not running for re-election this year. Jeff Duncan says he'll instead work on rebuilding the Republican Party into something he calls GOP 2.0. This will be followed by a GOP 2.2 update that removes Matt Gaetz. America's worst governor, Andrew Cuomo, says he'll earn just over $5 million for writing a book about leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic. You know, when I pat myself on the back after doing an abjectly terrible job, nobody pays me. In a 60 Minutes interview, Florida Senator Marco Rubio stated Americans need to take UFOs seriously. He then announced his plans to run for president with his running mate, Bigfoot. Or Sasquatch, if you like. Former NFL quarterback Brett Favre owes $600,000 to the state of Mississippi for speaking engagements he was paid for, in which he never showed up. Favre is hoping he can pay the state back in dick pics. That did not work for my back taxes. 7 states down, only 43 more states to go. Screw it. After evicting Palestinians for not paying rent, Hamas shot 3,000 rockets into Israel, followed by Israeli planes bombing Gaza. You know what they say? Never mix eternal enemies and business. Looks like we finally know what drove Bill and Melinda Gates to get a divorce. Bill admits he had an extramarital affair. Turns out he was a Linux user all along. For you nerds who get that joke, we're very sorry. By the time you watch this, gasoline should hopefully be available at a gas station near you. Sketchworks NewsBrake correspondent Tim Millard hopes you're not storing your gas in any plastic bags either.
This is a story about an oil pipeline, computer files, and garbage bags filled with gasoline. It starts with Colonial Pipeline, a major oil pipeline across the southeast United States. Hackers got into Colonial Pipeline's computer network, encrypted their files, and then held it for ransom. It's known as ransomware. Now, according to Bloomberg and the New York Times, Colonial Pipeline did eventually pay the ransom, estimated to be around $5 million. But in that time between the hacking and the ransom paying, Colonial Pipeline's pipeline was shut down. That means no gasoline for the southeast United States. And that means gasoline turns into toilet paper.
There is panic at the pump from Virginia all the way down to Florida.
I suspected just prices would go way up. I didn't suspect that there wouldn't be any the next day.
People are buying as much of it as they can. They're waiting in line at gas stations. They are filling up containers. You may have even seen those viral images of garbage bags filled up with gasoline. Now, as it turns out, that's a hoax. However, the Consumer Product Safety Commission actually had to put out a warning on Twitter reminding people that if you have gasoline, don't keep it in a garbage bag. I mean, that's just silly. If you're going to be putting gasoline somewhere, you should keep it in a safe place. Am I right? Ugh! Wait a minute. If I had gasoline in my coffee cup, then where did I put... Oh God, my car engine!
Thank you, Tim. Hope your car doesn't run on decaf. AT&T plans to sell off its Warner Media operations to Discovery. Now, what this means for you, the average or above average viewer, is that you're going to get yet another streaming service you don't have time to watch, but you'll still ask your friend to share their password for. Target says they will stop selling Pokemon cards after a fight in the parking lot. Walmart says they'll still sell them, but don't even think about fighting in the parking lot without first purchasing a gun. Stern finger wagging. The grocery chain Wegmans has recalled its Everything Bagel for what they describe as, quote, a potential presence of small, hard, black foreign material. Sheesh, Wegmans, can you be any more racist? Come on, man! Kellogg's is introducing a new cereal celebrating the LGBTQ community called Together with Pride. This replaces their previous attempt at a Pride cereal, Fruit Loops. Brood X cicadas are emerging across the East Coast for the first time since 2004. Billions of them. And they're all looking to upgrade their Motorola Razr V3 eyes. This week, the CDC announced people can finally take off their masks and show their ugly faces in public once again. Most excited about this decision is rapper Future.
Mask on, yeah, fucking mask on, mask on, yeah, fucking mask on.
That's also what I did last week. The CDC also says unvaccinated children must still wear masks, despite their risk of death being 0%. Using the same logic, they also mandated men wear condoms when within 6 feet of women. Follow the science, you sheep! University of South Carolina President Bob Koskin resigned after he plagiarized a commencement speech from a retired U.S. Navy admiral. Koskin's plagiarizing ways will no doubt help him in his new career as a terrible stand-up comedian. A Florida woman was arrested for pretending to be a high school teenager to gain followers on Instagram. Ugh, I hate it when that happens, said Matt Gaetz. Will we have one more Matt Gaetz joke to fulfill the rule of 3? Stay tuned. Red Lobster launched a new sweepstakes this week in search of a chief biscuit officer. Benefits of the CBO position are providing opinions on new dishes and $1,000 in rewards gift cards. Drawbacks are you have to eat at Red Lobster. Chicago released 1,000 feral cats on city streets to combat their rat crisis. And don't worry, to deal with their new cat crisis, they've enlisted local frat bros to slay all that pussy. Yeah, come on! Man. A year after suspending their 24-hour subway service, New York City has reinstated that day-long option. New Yorkers are free once again to get mugged or stabbed anytime, day or night. This week's episode of Sketchworks NewsBrake is brought to you by Sketchworks Comedy, because it's the only show we can advertise on for free.
Sketchworks Comedy summer camps are back and in person. During our 2-week camp, kids will play improv games, create funny characters, and write sketches for their own original comedy show. Not excited yet? Campers will also shoot a professionally produced video sketch and premiere it at their showcase. Also included, a show poster, camp t-shirts, awards, and a pizza party. Let's get back into comedy. Sketchworks, cranking out the funny.
Thank you, Maria's disembodied ghost voice. After 19 years, Ellen DeGeneres is ending her popular daytime talk show, Ellen. A year ago, DeGeneres received scathing criticism for her poor treatment of her staff. DeGeneres denied those charges and then ended her own show, thereby making her staff unemployed. Actor Rick, Don't Call Me Ricky Schroeder, released a video where he accosted a Costco employee for preventing him from entering without a mask, as is the store's policy in California. In an ironic twist, Schroeder's video won $10,000 on America's Funniest Home Videos, which is hosted by his former Silver Spoons co-star Alfonso Ribeiro. It's a small world. Comedian Joe Rogan says giving in to the woke mob will result in straight white men not being allowed to talk. So says the straight white man who has one of the world's most popular podcasts, one that has millions of listeners across the world, which earned him a reported $100 million licensing deal with Spotify. I'm not jealous. The New York City Pride Parade banned police from participating in the parade this year, which means that security will now have to be provided by the other village people. A University of West London study claims using Zoom can help older people avoid dementia and other memory problems. That is, if they remember to unmute themselves. Come on, man! The Daily Mail reports airlines may start weighing passengers at the gate because, according to an FAA memo, Americans are getting fatter, and the FAA is worried this may be weighing down planes. In a surprisingly related story, Spirit Airlines is planning to introduce a pay-by-the-pound airfare. Because you knew we had to get that Spirit Airlines joke in. It's just what we do. A study by the World Health Organization suggests 745,000 deaths a year can be linked to working for more than 55 hours a week. So that's all for Sketchworks NewsBrake. We'll be back next week, and we hope you are too. I'm Brian Troxel. Say hi to your mom for me. Ugh!
Were you briefed on the fact that the company did pay the ransom?
I have no comment on that. Thank you.